When you're reading Hearts Aflame, you forget your fag
lingo. What are the girls saying up in here?
That gay lingo is like verbal jazz, where speakers are constantly...
Yeah, we are the moment. We are the pop culture. A lot of things in America can be attributed nowadays to queer culture of the past. A whole lot of stuff. Maybe not food. Maybe food. Is there food? Is there some food? No, I don't want that salad. Okay, sorry. Hey everybody, this is Dean FM, Dean Fraser Milford, here for your creature comfort, and today I wanted to do another reaction video. This one is going to be to how queer communities created a secret language. Or languages, sorry, that's plural. Up into place. I don't know exactly what disclaimers I need to give, because what the girl need to be given in disclaimers, because I don't know. What channel is this sponsored by? The channel Storied. Now, that can mean a whole bunch of things. I am not familiar with the channel myself. It does look like a fun video. It does have quite a bit of views, and the person at the beginning looks pleasant as all hell. How bad could it be? Please make sure to check out all my stuff. It's in the link down below. Let's get right into it.
Is it possible to sound gay?
I don't know.
We know many of the factors that shape our identities, from race to geography to disability, can impact the way we use language. So what about gender and sexuality?
Be careful with that.
Lavender language refers to the speech practices of LGBTQ+ people, and the linguists who study it have chronicled a rich global history that has thrived in secrecy for decades. I'm Dr. Erica Brzozowski, and this is Otherworld. In the 1990s, anthropologist William Leap wanted to study the way people of different LGBTQ+ identities speak, and chose lavender, a slang synonym for gay or queer, as an umbrella term.
Cool.
Leap wasn't the first to study lavender language. The term he used came from a dictionary of gay slang written in the 1940s.
Ooh,
but his work defined a field of study that covers everything from how queer people use pronouns, to the wordplay of gossip and insults, to queer vernaculars, or argos, the complex and sometimes secret vocabularies of LGBTQ+ communities.
Okay.
One of the most famous and well-documented gay argos is Polari, which was used by gay men in England until the late 1960s. It borrowed from all kinds of speaking groups on the fringes of society, like thieves, sailors, theater performers, and Romani people. Polari speakers would rhyme or reverse words, or borrow from other languages to create new slang. Some Polari words that we still use are naff, meaning tacky or unfashionable, or zhuzh, the verb for sprucing up your hair, or it's fun to say but impossible to spell. In the late 60s, Polari started to show up in popular music and television shows. Sort of like how contemporary queer and trans ballroom slang has gotten popularized through shows like Drag Race. At the same time, Britain repealed part of its anti-homosexuality laws, making the secret code less necessary for safety. Polari started to fall out of regular use in the gay community, suffering a significant blow when many of the remaining Polari speakers died in the AIDS crisis of the 1980s. Still, lavender linguists continue to study and document Polari to preserve this important part of LGBTQ+ history. When homosexuality was criminalized in the UK, slipping Polari phrases into everyday speech could help you identify who else around you was also gay, without being obvious to straight people. Polari also had slang names for police, like Lily Law or Jennifer Justice, so that gay men could warn each other that police were around without them noticing. Some features of Polari also Loxero, an argot based on Spanish spoken by trans people and sex workers in Peru, has a similar coded nature. This feature, called cryptolalization, allows Loxero speakers to discuss taboo topics around listeners they may not know or trust. Gael, an argot that arose in apartheid South Africa among gay men of color, also borrows from Polari and mixes it with English and Afrikaans. Gael's main feature is using alliteration to substitute women's names for other common words.
I just wonder how we got this information. It seems like there's one person who kind of scoped these out, or there's a group of people who went out and scoped this out. And I'm just wondering, did they go to the village people? Nobody come after me and say, oh, they might don't be that way. Did they go to the village people? Did they go to them and say, where are the queers at? And how do they speak? In what language do they speak? How can we focus on the language instead of the people themselves? I think that there's something to be said for going to a village and like, okay, what's the
other practical notion? It's an ashtray which can be clipped onto the cigarette holder to keep the ash off your clothes or that expensive carpet. When you're reading Hearts Aflame, You forget your fact.
Lingo. What are the girls saying up in here, you know? And how would you define said lingo? The hottest queers in the area. There's a whole lot of things I don't understand in language itself. Given that a community can be based off of a lot of different factors, I gotta take a moment to pause and say, I love you back to my bestie. Mr. Nada, we got together once. Oh my God. He's so cool. I just gotta text him back because he said I love you. And I gotta say I love you back to my bestie. Where my boyfriend's at is another, that's another question now.
Is using alliteration to substitute women's names for other common words. Just like Polari referred to police as Jennifer Justice, Gael speakers might talk about avoiding Betty Bangles or getting Dora at a Patsy instead of drinking at a party. Gael, like Polari, employs a common feature of lavender languages, sheing, or using feminine language for non-feminine subjects, just like how gay men in the US might refer to friends as girl, sister, or queen. Lavender languages have a long tradition of playfulness with gender to challenge our ideas about language and power. Using feminine language reverses the cultural hierarchies that put masculine people at the top of the social order and feminine, queer, and trans people at the bottom. According to lavender linguist Paul Baker, sheing is inverting mainstream society's values so that everybody's potentially gay and everybody's potentially feminine. That's also how speakers of Sword speak, also called simply gay lingo in the Philippines, describe their use of language. The mix of Tagalog, Spanish, English, and some Japanese that began in the 1970s is known as a mode of social resistance for the way that it allows speakers to play with gendered language rules of the languages they speak. Like the other argos we discussed, Sword speak is used to immediately identify other speakers as queer, and it can also be pretty useful for gossiping or talking behind people's backs in a way that not everybody can understand. But speakers say it's no longer as secret as it used to be. In fact, in circles that contain a lot of LGBTQ+ people like the fashion, beauty, and entertainment industries, Swardspeak has spread to women and even some straight men. Swardspeak is not just a multilingual mashup, it's also filled with celebrity references. You might call an inexpensive outfit Mariah Carey, because Mariah sounds like Mura, the Tagalog word for cheap. And Julanis Morissette means to rain from the Tagalog word for rain, ulan, and the iconic line from the song Ironic. Using Swardspeak requires a lot of complex cultural knowledge. There are borrowed words from half a dozen languages and deep pop culture cuts that can take speakers years of engaging with the gay community to be able to fully understand. This helps solidify the in-group identities of speakers through the act of creating language together.
One of them can help you out. Go to one of the girls and say, hey, how do I conversate with the other queens? How do we get the lips gummed, the gums flapping up in this place and get kikiing and all sorts of things of that nature? But he wouldn't be saying kikiing because that guy is apparently not hip to the lingo, not hip to the gay stuff, not hip to the gay slang. Because like she said, yeah, we are the moment, we are the pop culture. A lot of the things that we incorporate are incorporated into a lot of things in America can be attributed nowadays to queer culture of the past, like a lot of makeup, fashion, hair, you name it, a whole lot of stuff. Maybe not food. Maybe food. Is there food? Is there some food? No, I don't want that salad. Okay, sorry. Just go to one of the girls and I'm sure they would tell you. It's not like one of them, if you ask them, what's the queer nigga? I would go down the list of what I remember. Gag, you know what I mean. I would just go down the list as to what I can rack up in my brain. We're all people at the end of the day. Maybe that's not even a good moral for this, but still we are all people.
Say that gay lingo is like verbal jazz, where speakers are constantly riffing and innovating off of each other to keep this lavender language evolving. These are by no means the only lavender languages that exist. As the field grows, researchers from all over the world gather each year to talk about new developments in LGBTQ+ language use. And there's so much more to learn. Many of the examples we discussed today are lavender languages used by cisgender gay men, because they're some of the most researched queer argos. Still, trans and gender nonconforming people are also innovating language practices, like repopularizing the use of the singular they, or introducing themselves with pronouns when meeting new people. While there's so much more to study, lavender linguistics reminds us that celebrating our own identities is a doorway into a freer and more expansive expression of ourselves, and that there is no more direct means of expression than language.
Okay, girl, you'd be trippy. Anyways, and I wanted to say, like, language is a beautiful thing. One thing that tripped me out was hearing old English. Just learning, first of all, that English in and of itself in many different places besides America presents itself in different ways. And in some regions to where people say that they speak English and we cannot necessarily understand it because of how distant it is or what have you, however you would define that. I thought it was so interesting to hear Old English.
Federure, thu thearton helvunum. Si thin nama je halgod, tobe come thin riche, je urde thin willa, un eurdan swaswa un helvunum.
Our father in ye old English, maybe rolled into ours. It's cool to learn how diverse language is, even in your own language, and how far it's come. Hearing somebody else talk, I don't know, but it's cool. It's cool. Definitely look up on your language, but let's not define a community by language, because I think the queer community, the gay communities, they're part of the community, period. I think that we definitely have a tremendous and very much so strong, powerful sense of community in LGBTQIA plus community. We have a lot of togetherness that is from years and decades and however long up until now, and still now we're having to still do so for safety, but that has been a defense mechanism for the queer community. It's kept a lot of people together. It's been a beautiful thing. If you watch things like Pose, and not just Pose, I guess that's the worst example, TV, but get what I'm saying. Just learn about ballroom culture, Vogue culture. Anyways, I hope you have a nice day. Please make sure to love yourself, love who you are. Please make sure to leave a comment down below, like, subscribe. Hope to see you next time.